Hello, good morning. Long time no speak, no see. I had an opportunity to go live this morning, so I only kind of figured out last night I'd be able to make this happen. So I thought, let's go with it. So I spent the evening preparing a couple of projects. So it's a bit of a lastminute.com, but I'm here and I haven't been live for a very long time, so hopefully somebody will be joining me live. I'm going to check that I'm live in the right place and go from there. So if you are joining, please do say hello. Life is just a bit of a whirlwind with grandchildren and family commitments and everything. Pinning myself down to have enough time available to prepare for a live, let alone the other classes I'm still trying to hold together. But things could change in the future and it's just uncertain at present. Hello, good morning Margaret, good morning Tracy, it's lovely to be here. Sunny but cold today, you'll agree if you're local. You look out the window and it's blue sky, a few clouds, you know, floating by. It is a bitter cold wind, so I have got some fresh flowery projects for you today. I am sending out the old and bringing in the new, so I've got one layout, one design, and I'm going to create 2 cards using some new products, some new colours, some new stamps, but I'm going to start with the old. You may have seen my post, so you could see the stamps that I'm using. Hi Roz, how are you doing? All the way from Florida, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, so I thought I would pop in, do a bit of sharing. That's okay. I get called all sorts, usually Kelly. Most people call me Kelly for some reason. But yeah, so it's good to be back. I don't know when I'll be back again. Maybe with the lighter nights coming, I may feel more enthused to come over here. I was over here till 9 o'clock last night, so maybe I might be able to schedule in a regular evening slot. It's just there's just not enough time at present, so we'll see how that goes moving forward. Right, more about what we are doing today. So bear with the palm of the hand. I'm going to move everything around. Set you down on my desk. Oh, I just got a static shock from my chair, which wasn't pleasant. Get some light on. And as you know, that will probably go off. Don't know why it does that. Right, so I can see comments. Well, it's lovely to have a few of you here. As I said, it's been a very long time. I had to, due to family commitments, I had to give up my lives probably a year ago. And I've missed it. I have missed it. Let's just zoom in a smidge more. Get this grid paper down and then we can get started. Let's go that way a little bit. So yeah, life is busy, but I am still hanging in there with my Stampin' Up business, doing as much as I can, grabbing every second that I can to come over here to the studio to create, to prepare for classes. There are things that have had to take a massive sidestep, like blog posts and things like that, but I'm still trying to hang in there. Right, so we are currently mid-April, midway through retiring list, last chance list from our annual catalogue. We have a brand new catalogue coming our way in May. I am not allowed to show you inside, but I've got a couple of launch events coming up. One at the weekend, one next week, so I'm excited to share it face to face with some of you, and once it goes live in May there will be a lot more sharing going on. So I thought I would focus on this little bundle today, and I'm also going to I've got little windows popping up. I did try and put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but it's all changed and I'm not sure I really understand the settings. But I thought I would use this along with some new things. I don't need that one. You may have already seen these beauties on your travels around social media. Honestly, I am in love. They are just gorgeous. So these are our 5 new in colours. We've got Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash, Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, and Pretty in Pink, which some of you may remember. It's a returning colour. So I'm going to be using Pretty in Pink today. And I'm going to be teaming it with Soft Sea Foam, just because I could have used the Shy Shamrock, but I'd already been stamping and playing with this set for a class this month, so I thought I would kind of stick with the same theme. I'm not using the punch for my projects today, but I do have some cards I can quickly show you where I've used images. So I've used this image from here. We had another set that goes with the bottle punch as well, but so you can see this one I fussy cut, foliage is from something else. This uses the punch but not this set. We had another stamp set that coordinated with it, as I've just said, and these are the images that were in it. I'm thinking it was in an autumn winter catalogue. It was a Christmassy version. So another one here, again using the punch but not using a stamp, but not all of the stamps from that set. And then another one as well. So it's a really good kind of all-rounder. Stamps are now reduced. They were 22, they are now down to £13.20, and I've checked this morning, they're still in here. And also the punch, which is probably a very old original price, is now down to £12.60. So £25.80 will grab you this bundle. And honestly, even if the bottles aren't your thing, the flowers and this one here, they are just lovely. So I'm going to put the punch to one side. Let's have a quick look at your messages. I know it's all about finding little windows of time, and I'm thankful that Stampin' Up allows me to do that. So it's definitely been crazy, fun but crazy. I love spending time with the grandchildren, but it has just meant it's limited what I can and can't do for my business. I'm glad to be here, Belle. Yes, it's Sam's 31st birthday. Oh, lovely. And you're meeting him for breakfast. Wonderful. Gosh, how can you be 31? That is scary. Yeah, see you Thursday night, and I'm looking forward to that too. Got some lovely projects lined up for you all. So let us get rolling, otherwise I'm going to be here all day, and I am on a school run today, so I have to be leaving about 2:15, 2:30 maybe, because Vivi doesn't come out until 3:15. So I'm not going to show you what I'm doing today. I've mounted my stamps up ready, so I'm going to pop that to one side. Let's pull out some pieces. Now, along with the stamp set I've just shown you and the punch, I'm also using this, which breaks my heart to know that this die set is retiring. It's now reduced to £21, and the stamps will still be available. They are carrying over. But the dies are just so usable. We were using them. I'm just going to show you. I've got my 6 cards here. Just show you a really simple card. And this is how these dies here cut. So this lovely flower cuts this delicate flower. So even if you don't have the stamps, to be fair, it's only this one, and this one, oh, and this one of course, that coordinate with stamps from the set. These frames and flowers and foliage are worth the £21 spent in my eyes, definitely. I'll be very sad to see that go. I've used it an awful lot. Right, Kerry, stop waffling and get on with the task in hand. There's one thing that has not changed. I can still talk when I need to, and I put it down to the majority of my life is spent with children and toddlers. So whenever I'm sort of in contact with adults or other human beings, it just all comes out, honestly. My poor hairdresser, the last time I went there, she could not get a word in edgeways. Good morning, Lucy Ann. Lovely to have you here. I am good, thank you. Hope you are too. Right. You may not notice, but this is another new surprise colour. It was a surprise to us all. It's called Basic Beige. I'm going to grab some crumb cake cardstock just for a comparison. So it's going in with our basic colours. And camera light will never show that well, but I think you can see just how much of a contrast there is between the new Basic Beige and the crumb cake. We're kind of thinking it's replaced Sahara Sand because it's very similar-ish, although if you put them together you would definitely see a difference. So I'm going to be using some of that. Take my card base. This is my standard 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. Fold that one in half, and then we're going to do a bit of stamping. Now I'm using photopolymer, and I'm using the two flowery and leafy images. So this is a two-step stamp, so when stamped individually on top of each other, they make a lovely design. Let's pull in my mat. This is looking like it's had a better life. And I'm going to start with Pretty in Pink. Now this is a very new ink, so it could be a bit blotchy, a bit inky. We'll just have to bear with it. The more, it's like when you re-ink a new ink pad, it's sort of very juicy, it goes a bit bubbly to start with, but the more we use it, the better it will be. Right, let's ink up. A wobble for a moment. I expect Alfie is wondering what's going on, like, who am I talking to? And we're just going to stamp one at the top here. He's developed a good snore as well with age. Bless him. And probably due to the weight that he's put on. So a year ago he was really poorly and had to have a couple of operations. One of them he was neutered. Right, so I've just turned it upside down and I'm going to pop the other one the other way around. And since being neutered, his fur has got really fluffy. He always used to be so like slim looking and sleek, and now he's sort of looking quite podgy, shall we say, and fluffy. I do nickname him Mr. Fluff, bless him. But he's developed this old man snore. So if you hear anything, it will be that. Right, next I'm going to take the soft sea foam, and this layers inside these little flowers here go inside their flower centres, but they go inside the big flower. So hopefully, because my camera, I'm going to have to pull it down a bit so that I can see. So my camera is right in the way. Hopefully I can line it in. It will never be perfect, but as long as it's somewhere thereabouts, that's not too bad. Can you see how that lines in? And that's what we call two-step stamping. And turn it upside down and do the other side. So we've got a new colour here, Pretty in Pink, a new returning colour. Teaming it with an old colour. And then let's leave that there. I'm a bit gutted about this lives on my desk permanently mounted on this block. It's from Petal Park, I want to say, which is retiring, and I may just have to hang on to it just for that tiny splat. We have more splats, but nothing quite as delicate as this one. So I'm just going to take some soft sea foam and just add some delicate splattage around the outside. Yes, Helen, and someone did remind me that the other day, that he's getting older now, and as we get older we get slower and we usually tend to gain a few pounds. So I did take him to the vet Monday because he's got this little lump on his side, so I took him for a consultation and they weighed him, and he has put on a bit of weight in the last year, and we knew that, but I kind of tried to defend him because his fur has just got so fluffy, it makes it look worse than what he actually is. And then when we walk down the LANE and it rains, he looks quite slim. So bless his heart. Okay, so that's all of our stamping. This will dry. Once the ink dries, it always looks different, so it will sort of pale up a little bit. Right, what I'm going to do, which do I want to do? I'm going to turn it over. I just want to curl up the two edges like that. This is a really simple card, really simple, and I'm going to just mount it. Good old Tombow. I'm not going right to the edges because I want it to kind of look like it's about to fly away almost. It's just lifting. I'll give you some measurements if you want. Got quite a border around the edge of my card. So this basic beige measures 3 3/4 by 5 3/8, and then the basic white layer is 3 5/8 by 5 1/4. And then we can pop that down onto our base. Now you could really go to town and add more colour, add more layers, but I'm keeping this one simple. Also, my back has forgotten that standing and stooping like this is not great, but that's obviously lack of practice. Right, next I've cut a strip of soft sea foam, and this measures 3 3/8 by 1 1/8. Do you know what? My menopausal memory is pretty pants, but when it comes to measurements, I seem to remember the measurements. Bearing in mind, I did only design this last night. But somehow things like that stick in my head, and then the really important things I just cannot remember, or I forget to do. Right, next I've taken from the Thoughtful Expressions dies, I've just die cut the 2 smaller ones from here in basic white. I'm going to pull in my mat, and I'm going to stamp, if I mounted it already, yes. So from the Bottled Happiness, they're sending a little message, and I'm going to use my memento for that one. It's upside down, and just pop that down in the middle. Like so. How are you doing, Helen, anyway? Hey, how are you feeling? Hope you're feeling brighter as each day goes on. A bit of Tombow on the back of here. And I'm just going to layer these two together. No extra dimensionals on there. So there's quite a lot going on in the world of Stampin' Up! At the moment with the Last Chance list. As a demonstrator, I have pre-order for the new catalogue, so I've got a limited amount of product I can choose from to order and play with ahead of its launch. And to be fair, I think I've mostly got what I want from that pre-order. I'm going to wait for the catalogue to go live to get the rest of the things that I want. So, but I've got, you know, I've got the main things. I've got all of the ink pads, I've got the blends and the cardstocks and the papers. Honestly, it's going to be tricky. I have made a wish list and I'm going to work my way through it. Right, so I'm just laying down that piece of soft sea foam, and then I've cut a very skinny strip of Pretty in Pink. I'm surprised I don't have any of this lying around. I've got quite a few retired bits. And I'm just cutting that one just a little bit longer because I want it to hang over the edge. Helen, you're feeling more uncomfortable than painful. So going in the right direction, yes. That's good. That's good. Bless you. Right. I'm going to lay that one down. Just at the bottom. Doesn't look straight to me. Good job that Tombow gives us that bit of wiggle room. And then to finish, we are just going to pull off the backing and lay that one centrally as possible down onto our card. So pretty simple, not rocket science. You could add embellishments if you wanted to. You could add twine, but I just wanted to keep it really simple. Simple and me don't go together very well. You know, I love my layers and texture and embellishments, so, but sometimes simple is all that's needed. So there we go, that is the first one. My original is here, exactly the same. So we've got a little mixture there of outgoing products along with a bit of new with the colour. But what I thought I would do, and this one is a little more time consuming, but not really more complex. Thank you, Helen. I wanted to try and show you that when you've got a design like this, go with it. Don't overcomplicate things for yourself. Don't overthink things. The saying is work smarter, not harder. So reuse what you've got as in ideas, and just, you can step it up, step it down, swap things in, take things out, switch up your colours. So there are just, from one card design, there are multitudes of things you can do just with that one thing. Right, I've got some bits and pieces here, so I've still got my same layers for the front of my card. I've also got a little bit more die cutting to do. So what I think we'll do first is stamping, because look at those colours. So we've got Pretty in Pink, Petal Pink, Soft Sea Foam, and the new Peach Pie as well. So another new ink colour. But first, let's do a bit of stamping. Now, this next step is not for the faint-hearted. Can't separate those two. But I kind of like the idea, and you could work your way around this if you needed to. But basically what I've done is I've taken a post-it note, and I've stamped, oh, I better show you what I'm using, haven't I? So the Country Flowers. So this set was available to purchase as kind of like a pre-order, a pre-order. But for an event we had at, I'm just going find my paperwork, on stage. We had an event on arrival called After Hours, and it was the evening we arrived in Rotterdam, and we were able to order ahead of time a choice of a bundle. There were 3 choices, and this was my choice. I was just immediately drawn to it. I mean, it's floral, there's colouring involved. I loved the fonts, loved the greetings, and I just knew that I was going to get lots of use out of this. So we were given brochures at this event, and we had cards. So let's have a look. In fact, I don't know if I guess I'm allowed to show you in here. Maybe I won't, just in case. But inside there were, from the 3 stamp choices you could choose from, there were a couple of cards that we got to make at that event. So, which was super fun and super exciting. It was an amazing event, honestly. If you have ever thought about joining my team, being a demonstrator, there's nothing for you to look back on, because don't even hesitate it. It's just such an amazing community, and we have just so much fun when we go to events. So I chose this one because I knew I was going to love it, and I'm going to be stamping with this flower. I've mounted it up ready. I'm going to be using, right, what can I put away so that I'm not going to dunk my fingers in it. Let's do up that ink pad, because I don't need that for a mo. What I've done originally is I've taken my Memento ink, stamped this greeting down onto a post-it note by the sticky edge. So make sure that you're stamping onto where the sticky part at the top is. And then this is where I said it's not for the faint-hearted. And then I've fussy cut it out as close to the line as possible. I've got new glasses now, probably since I've last spoken to you, so cutting is much better, it's much clearer. So I've created a mask, which, as you will see, will enable me to overlap my images, which is very clever. So I'm going to, it's about the best piece of grid paper I've got on here. Right, I'm just going to grab my white, because I've done this. When I did this before, I managed to get ink on the edge of my block and coloured in, and then realised there was ink everywhere and it didn't look so pretty. So I'm going to go near the top. So I'm working with the same principle of design as my last card. So I'm going to stamp one here. Then I'm going to take my little craft mask. Of course, we do have masking paper, but obviously I don't have it, hence why I'm using the post-it note. Oops, my finger went in it then. And then I'm going to ink that one up again, and I'm going to stamp next to it so it's overlapping, and I need to press quite firmly, because where that join is, if you don't press quite firmly, even though this is very thin, you will still get a little gap. So can you see how that's created like a much bigger flower? I'm going to turn it upside down and do exactly the same again. This little flower bouquet is divine. I love it. It is delicious. It's all the words. Honestly, I dread to think how many of these I've coloured in since I've had this stamp set. I'm sure my stamping blends are going to be running out very quickly, because I've been using those new ink colours like nobody's business. So I'm going to redo that again. Doesn't really matter where. And then, so the bit that I don't want to overlap just stamps onto the edge of that mask. So I've ended up with that, and I've also ended up with a little splodge there. So I'm just going to put that in my trimmer and take that, skim that edge right off, because that will probably stand out. Right, we'll move that out of the way. I've got a Blue Peter one somewhere. Here's one I did earlier, which I've allowed to sit and dry out for a bit. And now we get to do the fun bit. Now, some of you may not consider this fun, but I definitely do. And colouring is lovely to do, and it is even more of a dream if you've got the right medium and the right product. So I've used the Memento ink because these are alcohol-based pens. Now, I'm not going to colour all of this in. As much as I love spending time with you, I do not want to bore you to tears after just having you back. So I'm going to colour in just a few images. Let's start with Petal Pink. Now, my light is running very low. I think I have a new set somewhere. So let's start with Petal Pink. Make sure that you can see what I'm doing. I always use my bullet tip. My customers like to use my brush tip. This one is not too bad. Excuse me, the frog is appearing. In fact, let's just have a little drink before it goes. Excuse me. Obviously not used to talking for a while. And we're just going to colour in. So I'm starting with light Petal Pink. This one is definitely fading a bit, but I feel there's still quite a bit of life left in it. I'm going to go with this flower first. And start with the light. When my pen's in between using them, I just put the cover over. I'm not pushing it right on. I just sit it over so the air doesn't get to it and dry it out. And then with the dark, I'm just going to go around the centre a little bit just to act as shadow. I'm not specifically blending with these. But then I'm going to do this flower here. The squeaky noise these pens create. Have a look at comments as well. Let's go back over that one a little bit. We do have some other blends pens in the catalogue that may not be that apparent, but a colour that complements this one, I can find it on the chart, they're not labelled, is SU 700. They come in packs of 2, I think. So there are some other like skin tone colours, but they work lovely with like the blush colours. Next, oh, we've got one more flower I was going to do in this colour. This one up here. You know me, there's no real fancy colouring, it's just get some colour on there. There's no time to faff too much. Right, next we're going to go with, let's go with Peach Pie, which I love. I'll start with the light. I feel, looking at my MacBook, that colours look a lot paler than what they are in real life, so we'll see. So I'm just going to colour in a couple of the little flowers in the Peach Pie. So this is the light, as I've said. And then we'll just go back in with the dark. And just add a bit of accent with some depth. Then Pretty in Pink. So again, I always start with light. Some of you may start with dark. It's a free country. You can go with however suits you, whatever you're used to. I guess if you go in with dark first, you can then smooch over it all with light and kind of blend it in one go. But quite often I don't feel the need to like over blend. I just like to add colour and then add a bit of shadow. Depends what kind of image you're colouring in, I guess. Oh, I can hear the birds singing, it's lovely. It's lovely but chilly out there. So that's the light. And we'll just come in, add a bit of depth where maybe we would think there would be darkness. Like so. Now a lot of people would then go back in and blend that, but once it dries, it looks okay. So then, soft sea foam, that's the dark. So, just going to colour all of the leaves. I'm waiting for my Shy Shamrock blends to come. I think they're coming Friday. Because I thought I could wait for them until the catalogue went live, but it's apparent that I need them. So that I have all 5 in colours. I'm not a fan of colouring with dark blends. I find it, you know me in colour, you know subtles are my thing, and when I'm doing anything in a dark colour, I find it quite scary. So I thought maybe I don't need the Shy Shamrock. So Shy Shamrock is this one here. So it's sort of oceany, greeny, bluey kind of tones. But I think, like for this purpose, it would have been nice to have used a new in colour on it. So I've just gone in there with a bit of dark. So that is one set of flowers. So then you just need to do that on all 4. But I'm not going to do that in front of you. As much as I love colouring, I can sit and do that later. When Jason is downstairs working on his racing car. So, and this is what you end up with. Right, that was him just messaging me. And you can see. But it's okay. So, I'm loving these colours together. I'm loving the peach pie with the petal pink. Love those two together. The cardstocks. Shall I show you the cardstocks? Oh, it's grabbing off my shell. So, petal pink, peach pie. Almost makes the peach pie look very orangey, doesn't it? Orangey yellow, but yeah, delicious. So what I want to add now are those little tiny dotty splats just around the edges, just to kind of give it a bit of lift. Helen, you could watch me colour for hours. Oh, bless you. Yeah, it is quite, I think sometimes watching is as therapeutic as colouring. So we've just added some dottage around the edges. And then we're going to create our card, but slightly different. Rather than using dies that are going out, because we've got a new stamp here, I'm going to use some dies that are staying. Don't have any new label dies yet. There is a couple of sets that I will be getting. So I'm just going to mount this onto the basic beige. And, oops, moved. I might layer that up. Did I do my last one? Did I layer it? I do it flat. Is it flat, I think, but I might layer this one. Noticed on this one that I layered it extra, of course, just to cost even more money for posting. Let's keep this one flat. And then I'm going to pop it, swipe the end off my glue, and then it will flow better. Pop it down onto my base. I don't know why, but I tend to work on an angle. Does anyone else find that? I tend to work like this, and I tend to sit like this, and that's probably why I work like that. My body is all out of a line. Okay, so die cutting. Also got some cardstock for stamping on, and another skinny strip of the Pretty in Pink. So let's just bring in my awfully well used bottom plate, which is still working. It's still working, so I'm not changing it yet. I've got a new one ready. And I thought I would use some of the Nested Essentials because they are staying. And I think I want that one. And they are a very usable set. So we're going to start off. Look at this one. That one fit that way, just about. Take our top plate, and I'll just run those through quickly, and then I'm going to doctor one of them to adjust the size of it. They are lovely, these dies, because they have that beautiful stitched edge. I use these parts as well for like borders and things. That one back. Now this one, let's get rid of that. Put that in my scrap box. I want to make it smaller. It's too deep for what I need, and I just want to make it a bit smaller, so I'm going to trim it. Let's grab some washi tape. And if you lay it down, you do get a bit of interference with the dots on the corner. But if I lay it down and I kind of find the edge of the die by pushing, I'm pushing down, and that won't move down, so I know the edge of my die is at the edge of my cardstock. And that should be straight. And I'm just going to tape that in and run that through quickly. Oh, it's raining. Spitting out there. Never mind. Had to happen, didn't it? It's April after all. And when I went to take Alfie out last night, because I was in here all day yesterday working, I didn't get to take him out in the day, but because the nights are lighter, I took him down, and we had a sprinkle just before I left the house. So that might be a little bit wider than I needed, but that will be okay. I mean, deeper is what I meant. And then I'm going to stamp a greeting. Now we've got some lovely greetings in here. I wasn't only going to do this as a sympathy card because I think it would work, and to be fair, we all need this kind of greeting at some point in our lives, so it's quite a handy one to have. I just love the fonts in here as well, but I'm going to use the Sending Love. I'm going to stamp it on this little strip, so I've mounted it ready. Hoping that is just a little sprinkle. So in the memento, down onto this scrappy piece that's left. I get a lot of scrappy pieces of this kind of width. Let's put that lid on. Black ink pads with open lids are not good when there's a lot of white cardstock around. Hey Jill, how are you doing? They are lovely colours, aren't they? Hope you're feeling a bit brighter too. There's a lot going around, isn't there? My middle granddaughter's not been very well this week. Bless her. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to cut a little strip the Pretty in Pink, just a bit shorter than the width of this frame. Add some Tombow in there. I'm sorry that you won't be joining us this week, but hopefully you'll be better next time. So I've just added that in. Make sure that's stuck. Then we'll pop on our frame that we made a bit shallower. We're just layering up. It's been really strange as well not having any children, because yesterday and today I'm not used to that. I normally, from a Thursday afternoon and a Friday, I'm more child free, but it's strange. Hopefully they'll be better soon. Right, dimensionals on the back of my greeting. And then we're just going to pop that one down in the middle. I could have stamped it directly on. Let's get it somewhat central. But I just wanted to raise it up even more, just so that it popped away from the card. And then to finish, I'm just going to simply Tombow on the back. And add that down in the middle somewhere. It doesn't pop massively. We could have done less flowers and less colouring by just doing one on opposites, and then maybe if I show you the dies. Oh, that's it. So these are the dies that go with the country flowers. Oh guys, those flowers, they are gorgeous, and this cluster of leaves. So we could have just done one flower. In fact, I might have a play with that after. I've got some thank you cards that I need to do, so could have had one flower here and then die cut it out and just popped some foliage either side. So I'll have a play with that. But yeah, you've got all of these options of flowers, which makes life so much easier, and the singular leaves as well. And then all the other, apart from this one, the other dies cut out images from the stamp set. So it's a fabulous one. It's £50, 25 for the bundle, but just remember that is not coming until May, so we have to wait a little bit. I'm never one for sharing too much too early, because I just think the suspense is painful when you have to wait. So there we go. So we have got, as I said, you could add a bit of twine if you wanted to, but we've got 2 cards, same layout, same sketch, same idea, similar colours, same sort of concept, but just different stamps and different frames, just to create the same kind of look. I think I am done. How long have I been waffling? 48 minutes. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I have got loads of things that I want to try and get done before I go for the school run, so I'm not going to waffle on for too much longer. I will try and come back. I'll try and schedule in another evening before the catalogue goes live, just to share some more things with you. Next month's classes will be using new product, of course, and don't forget, if this one takes your fancy, that now is the time to get it while it's still available at the reduced price. So in fact, I can show you original in old colours as well. So this is Orchid Oasis, which is an in colour that is going out. So there we go. I'm looking around my desk at all the goodies that I need to play with, and it's exciting. It's lovely. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. It's time for a coffee and I need to get a wriggle on. I've got a couple of hours I can get stuck in. 3 hours. Surprising what you can do when you've got a small window of time. So there we go. Just another closer look at those beautiful in colours on that beautiful stamp. So thank you for stopping by. I will see some of you Thursday, tomorrow evening, and hopefully I'll be back very soon. If you are catching up on the replay via YouTube, please do make a comment. I will be able to see comments via my YouTube channel, and put in the hashtag replay so that I know you've been here. That would be lovely. But I will hope to see you very soon. Please all take care and stay germ free, and I'll see you soonish. Bye for now.